info. Yes, so first of all, to powers that be and the power of possibilities, a big thank you. Because of the power of possibilities and the people that I've met over the years, this book is coming to you, all of you. Sunil Satyendra here. I know all of you know me as Sunil, and possibly in different other names that work for you. But in the writing space, I go by the name Pungidasa. Pungidasa is my pen name. I've been in the writing space possibly around 14 years, gently around 14 years. I started writing my poems on the last benches of my engineering space. So, second semester, I clearly remember physics class is when things started to unfold in the writing space. And I wrote my first few poems. And then a few of my lovely friends, one of whom is also part of this call today, Roshan and Srinivas, so they backed me up quite well and said, Sunil, you should write. And I had 500 messages per day free to send people messages. And I started writing every day so that my messages are not wasted. And that journey sort of took on shape over many years. A lot of people told me once you are in the office, you will stop writing. But that did not deter me from stop writing. I used to write every day, close to around 7.5 to 8 years, straight on a daily basis. Sometimes during exams, during my engineering space, even if I'm sleeping at 3 o'clock, finishing something that I was reading, I still used to write and sleep. So never a day did I miss it. Even if I was coming back from the office quite late or going into office quite early, the act was to always write something uh, at the beginning of the day or at the end of the day. Otherwise, the poems would not let me sleep. So that's how the whole journey began. And over a period of the last 14 years, 13 plus years, I've been writing almost 7,000 plus is the number. After plus, I haven't stopped. I haven't started counting. I haven't looked at counting because I said it does not matter on the numbers now. It what matters is that the poem needs to touch you as an individual, and that's my simplest equation to start writing. And I've also got to a space where if even if I stop writing, the writing will not stop. It's something that flows. It's something that just gently is who I am. It's become a part of who I am. So I remember writing my first book. It was called Untitled Verses, and possibly even in this book, there are no poems with titles. All of them have no titles. That's how my way of work is. That none of my poems have titles until now. Possibly maybe around 100, may have poems. I tried to experiment with my second book, which was called Swayambhu. And so my writing just started as is. I am not a trained writer. I have not done bachelor's or master's in any language as such. Somehow, my English teachers were very successful in inspiring me to look at what writing was. One of them was a Bengali teacher. And another one was an English teacher from whose roots were from Tamil Nadu, and she's definitely a Bangalorean as such. And one of them introduced me to R.K. Narayan, and that was Rama ma'am, and Paramita ma'am basically introduced me to writing, and especially true poetry and drama. So that was the deal. This seed was sown possibly in standard 8, 9, and I started writing after I got into engineering, and that continued for a long time. I got to a space where even right now, if something just comes by and I'm having a tea or talking to somebody, if there is a word that has come to my thought process, I just stick with that word, and basically another 5, 10 minutes, I have a poem ready. That possibly leads the least number of edits, has the least number of spelling mistakes. And the most simple idea in writing is to make sure that I am able to, through these words, reach people. And through the poems, through the words, people are able to also tap onto something that they want to see themselves in. And interestingly, Pungidasa is my pen name, so I never write as Sunil Satyendra or Sunil as an individual. I always write as a pen name because I strongly believe that I, Sunil, is not the person that is writing. There's a higher force, something bigger than me, something stronger than me that always takes over control of me writing. And otherwise, it's not possible to keep writing for 14 years with this consistency and this width of experiences. And essentially, put 11 books out there. So this is my sixth book that is into poetry. I first started with Untitled Verses in 2017-ish. 2018, I remember taking a career break, which my mom very, very strongly supported, and said, I am going to write, and writing is going to be my full-time work. I took a 9 months paternity break to sort of work with my two babies. That was colorful stories in black and white. And then it was 13. 13 was my first book in short stories. And after that, usually I said short stories is going to be my way. I'm not going to write poems. I'm done with it. And then Swayambhu happened. Like the name says, Swayambhu simply means something that exists, and it has no reason. It does not need a reason. It does not need anything else to exist. So that's how Swayambhu happened. And basically, after Swayambhu, I thought I'm done. And then I wrote a book for my mom's 50th birthday, and that was stories again. And then another thing happened where I wrote some more poems, and this one was called Mangoes in a Coconut Tree. And so I had a fascination for writing books and then naming. Sometimes the name comes first, and then the poems happen. So that my 12th book is possibly going to be called Garbhagudi or Garbharahatya, either of them. Two of them are shortlisted. So the name comes to me first and the rest of it follows. So sometimes everything else is come and the name comes. So mangoes in a coconut tree happened to be of name first and then something else. Then it led me to other books, and then we did a community book also. And basically, things moved to a point where I was saying, okay, I don't think I have something to write about. And that's when last year, Jan 26th, I gave into a space of challenging myself, and I said, today I will write 100 poems and mark it for the Republic Day celebrations. I only managed about 26, and that became an ebook, and where I called it Out of Nowhere. And I said, oh, why don't I try Jan 26th is done. August 15th, I'll make another this thing, because we would be celebrating and a lot of people will have a lot more time on their hands to work with. And I said, give me a word, I'll write you a poem. I came up to 45 and I said, okay, 45, I can't do it. One of my friend reached out to me and said, Sunil, you've done 45. You said you wanted to do 100. Take as much time as possible, but complete 100. So in the next 3 days, I did 108, totally 108. And that became Born in 3 days as the next book. And also sort of worked with saying this idea saying, should people buy my book? And only then is it a value to these poems and value to the work that I am sharing? What is more important to me is people read it, and economically or making money out of my poems is not my original intention. I want people to read, and that was how the whole idea of giving the book to you without any monetary charges started. If you like it, if you want to pay it forward, my details are always in the book. You can always reach out to me and say, I want to pay for it. And then you can always pay me for it monetarily. Or the other aspects of payment is call me on your podcast, give this book to a friend of yours. Anyway, that follows. So that's how it goes. This is the background of how the whole aspect of the book and my writing has come through. And sometimes I just sit and write. So 47 poems happened this January 26th. And I said, no, I don't think I have bandwidth to write 100 this time. I will stop at 47. And those 47 made it to this book called Poems on Paper. It's a very interesting pace because I have, in all of my life, never really written in a diary, written in a book or somewhere. I have typed out my poems, and they most always stay on the Google Drive, or as Canva pictures, or as something that is digitally available. And After that, it's quite a simple aspect of making sure that more people read. So that's how Poems on Paper was born. And Roshan very innocently sent saying, "Hey, you say it is poems on paper, but it's a digital copy." So with whatever I write, with Pungitasa being a pen name. So initially, it started off saying Pungitasa means it's a in Pungin Kannada means my native language means it's a snake charmer's instrument. But a snake charmer, for some of you who don't know, is somebody who works and essentially tames a snake or makes the snake less aggressive, catches the snake. The snakes are at home, so they use something called as the pungi. That's the instrument that they use, and that instrument is interesting in a way because snakes do not have any hearing capacities. They are able to uh, taste the air with their tongue. They are able to sense vibrations from the ground, and that's how they are able to sort of navigate their place. But they don't have external pinnae like how we have, where they can hear from it. But essentially, what the sound that the pungi actually makes is irrelevant to the snake. It's actually the movement that moves the snake. Or there are always two things. One is the snake is really getting tamed by the movement and not by the sound. So my poems do end up having two meanings, two very distinct meanings. And that's why Pungidasa came to be. And Dasa, because I come from a space in the south where the Dasa Sahitya movement basically took off. And we had multiple seers, multiple seekers in different languages, different states, bring different thought processes of writing. And I read one of these poems by Purandaradasa and Kanakadasa. And Kanakadasa's poem called Ni Maya Olago Ninodu Maya. Are you in the illusion or is the illusion in you? Stuck with me as soon as I read it in Standard 7 that how could these paradoxes exist? And that's where the Dasa also comes into play. Um, and yeah, so that's the whole story around this, and it's somehow people really appreciated me for it, saying that's a very interesting name. And Pungi also in local colloquial means that I'm a prankster, so that also was how it sort of took on. Where I used to prank people with multiple voices and multiple other, say, uh, voiceovers from multiple accents that I was able to pull off. So all that is the history of my writing. And one more thing that I also, now that I have your full-fledged attention, I want to also bring to your notice is that for the last 3.5 years, I kept on asking myself, saying, why am I writing? And what's holding me to continue to write this? And some of you may know that I was previously employed with Bosch as an organization, and Bosch gave me a lot in terms of who I am as an individual. I'm always grateful for one experience in particular that was connecting me to the whole aspect of volunteerism. And I became a volunteer to work with government schools. I worked with multiple NGOs in the sector, and we did fundraising for them. We worked with them in multiple capacities. And one of the things that always stayed with me is how impactful a small act of kindness is and how strongly it can have repercussion effects. And here I had talent to write poems. There were people who were reading it. So in COVID, I started writing short stories and poems. Poems less so, but initially started with short stories, where I ran it for a 3 month subscription, 1 month subscription, 6 months, and then 1 year. I used to charge about 1,000 rupees per year. You would get every 15 days a poem or a story, and from that, whatever money came along was sent into or was basically collected and put as a corpus fund. And from the corpus, we were then looking to work with government school kids or kids from rural areas, sometimes even with kids with single parents in Bangalore, with tough situations at home. So we were enabling scholarship funds for them. And my friends were also helping overall as a capacity, but I was doing it like this, and that's how the whole seed of this started. So right now, we've supported around 17 students continue their education beyond standard 10. which may not have happened so easily had it not been for this scholarship program. So I also have a good set of friends and people, well-wishers, who also, give money on their birthdays, their anniversaries, etc., in remembrance, so that the funds are quite long. So right now, the overall number stands at 111. 111 kids from various capacities from various parts of Karnataka who have received some additional impulse to continue their education in their spaces and move out of the current space that they are working with. So that's a brief on this aspect as well. So in the last 2 years, it sort of moved into writing poetry a lot, and I have changed the subscription model to once a week, and also to a subscription range of 1 year as well as 2 years. I charge about 2,500 for a year and 5,000 for 2 years. And essentially, from that, because I'm running my own startup, I need a little bit of corpus. I keep around 50% of it. The other 50% goes towards the same corpus that I just now mentioned. And from there, we continue to support students outside of Karnataka, and some of them come back again. So we're currently supporting somebody who's in their fourth year of studying MBBS, becoming a doctor. So those are some of the strong success stories from this. And for me, it also completes a full circle of Ikigai, because I am doing something very meaningful for the work that I represent. It just no longer is a space of saying, "Oh, this is something that I like. I'll share it with people," and that's about it. It has a stronger cause behind it, a stronger aspect behind it, and that keeps me going in terms of what I write. And this is what I wanted to, set context, share a little bit before I, open the book. So I just want to remove the spotlight, put it back to all of you guys. I see some good friends already. Thanks for all of you coming in. Always a joy to see you, see those names again, and then say thanks for coming in. So this is my journey until now, and I'm sure there are different adventures that await. Some of you may not be here, and you're catching up on the recording. But I acknowledge all of you in this journey so far. It's not been easy to write so many stuff and remember what I've written, and also me being lazy in multiple aspects, caught up in some multiple fashions of mine to say, okay, this is something that I really really want to do. So that's the context of the book so far. That's the context of the writing. Adivya, so welcome. So you have come here, taken your time on a Sunday for whatever timeline that is in your local timelines. I really acknowledge you for it. My pranams to all of you. And again, just a little more interesting aspect of the book. So I found that the poems, in whatever order they actually arrived, maybe the first and the last poem have been swapped, but otherwise they came in the same order as is. They were inspired by different aspects of life, and maybe I will take the liberty of reading some of my original works. They don't necessarily are not from this book. I'll read a few that have arrived on their own, and I think I have to read them out to introduce you to my writing. And after I read that, I would always love to, share some more about this book in particular, and then take it from there. So I would pause for questions maybe after I have asked, read the poems. If you do like it, please feel free to share it with me as to which poem you liked, which one you did not. So I wrote something today. Yeah, okay, somebody's not able to join. So today I wrote something very interesting, and this is something that just happened to come to me at that very point of time. I'll just go back to speaker mode again. Um, to spotlight. Yeah, I'll spotlight myself again. So this one came to me today. Essentially, I want to meet a big blue whale today. Yes, you heard me right, a big blue whale. I want to sit with it, rather, easier swim with it. My tiny hands on its big heart, just for once, exchanging a story from its vast library of stories in the millions brought to her, the trusted librarian of the sea. One story of times gone by, of people, of lives and love stories, of dancing stars and meteors gone by, leaving her, leaving with her my tiny story, a tiny fragment of what made me laugh, anecdotes from my time of existence, and all the stories I hold on to, stories that are dear, stories that are near. She holds many a stories herself of men and women that Gangama has shared with her for safekeeping, brought to her year on year from different currents that always reach her. I am a little greedy, like a child in front of a ever young but ancient grandma. I ask for her to share more stories, to put me to sleep, and she obliges with stories she is yet to tell her own grandchildren. And so I listen in rapt attention, staying in the present and just absorbing every story coming my way of 500 plus years of life she has seen and countless beings she has met and the magic of existence she has become. So this is what I wrote today morning. It started with that idea of saying, what would it feel like to meet a blue whale? A blue whale exists in life, if not being hunted, if its natural life cycle runs for more than 500 plus years, and they roam all across the seas. What would it be to just go and sit with them and talk to them and have a cup of coffee with it and see what stories they have to share? And also in the Indian tradition and Indian practice, people who die are, there is a whole aspect, whole ritual around their last remains as ashes entering the Ganga or any river as such. And all rivers flow into the ocean, and all currents basically meet the whale. So all of our stories that some of us will never get to share to our own kith and kin, to our own selves at time, that we never carry back, is carried by the ocean, carried to the whale. And what if the whale is now the custodian and the librarian of such stories? How much would we want to go and touch the heart of a whale and read and listen to some of those stories from a whale? So that was the whole idea of writing this poem. And it started with that idea of how would it look like if I were to meet a whale today. So that's a poem that came to be today morning. Uh, so that's something that I wrote. And another one that I would just like to share before I just open the book is to the whole aspect of the joy of writing. And that ink hit the paper, the blot existing, taking shape, getting drawn into lines like copper, flowing, stopping, pausing, and becoming a river of ink for words and metaphors to conduct itself through the ever conducting copper. Thoughts flowing, fluid to the touch, weaving a tapestry in a world of meaning. Tapestries that stories, the tapestries that started as stories, starting as imagination in the head. Flashes of neurons conducted between each other, coming to be a figment of imagination, existing first in the head, born there, manifesting as movement, read as frequency, put out as movement of the hand, thought read out a sound, and sound turning to meaning. That is the alchemy of poetry. And that is the alchemy of poetry. How copper can help you reach people beyond just words and beyond just boundaries. That is the power of alchemy. And that is the power of poetry. So this is something that also is very, very strongly in my aspect of faith. Uh, so all poems just randomly come to me, and they don't exist before I know that they come. And when they come, they actually are a blot of ink or typed on a sheet of paper, a sheet of my mobile. And at the end of it, it looks a masterpiece on its own. In terms of its existence. And I don't need to be Shakespeare. I don't need to be Kalidasa. I don't need to be William Wordsworth. I don't need to be Rabindranath Tagore. I don't need to be Poempo. I don't need to be anybody else. For me, this poem matters. And this is giving me meaning. So all of us don't have to hold back whether my poem is good enough, whether my poem is good to be read. Will people pay me for my writing? To just that act of writing itself is so sacred that it has to be given its space in the world. And I'm sure if even if no one is reading, the poem still comes to me and knocks on my door and gets born. So that's the whole idea of this, and how words can actually make such a strong space is what I just wanted to bring to you with this poem. Yeah, and I am reading some of your comments on the chat. Thank you for that. So, and since I have told you a longer one, I also will share a very shorter one. Um, so this one, I saw somebody who's a very young dancer, and she was dancing for a Bharatanatyam kind of a space, and she was very expressive. And so this is what I wrote. It's only a two-liner.
गैप उसका ले रहे थे ना
Yeah. So that is a two-liner, and so this is how it goes. She is a dictionary of expressions, and sometimes even Shiva comes to dance in her eyes. So just I'll repeat. She is a dictionary of emotions and expressions. Sometimes even Shiva comes to dance in her eyes. So that aspect of how the Bharatnatyam as a dance is strongly related to Nataraja, and Shiva and Tandava and all that stuff. So even Shiva comes to just see how graceful and how sweet she is, and she is a dictionary of experiences. So we usually go up to the dictionary and look at it up and say what words mean what, and what if expressions were itself a dictionary in itself. So that was the whole idea, and that was the whole thought behind this. Maybe one last one before I go on to talking about this book. And this one is called it does not have a title again. So I sit in silence, the roar of the ocean in my ears, also the whisper of the sea reverberating in the corridors of my mind. I sit in silence for the first time, for the first time, being unaware of myself, like I am in the state of anesthesia. I know the sand that I am sitting on is slowly warming up, and the breeze is blowing gently. A spray of the waves is saying hi. But there are moments in between where I don't exist. All there is Swayambhu. There's existence, there is pause, there is silence, nothingness, and everythingness in one. Shunya, Ananta, coexisting in this Ekanta. Silence, stillness, both friends with chaos, both friends inside and outside. I sit in silence. I sit in silence. So this is another very fascinating poem for me, because I started with this concept of one, zero, and infinity, or how we say that in mathematics. One is eka, and zero is shunya, and the other aspect is ananta, which is infinite or undefined. So there's a very interesting story that how I think infinity came to be born. I'm not sure if it was Ramanuja, or I'm not sure if was it from somewhere else. My sources may be wrong, but essentially we are one as an individual, and possibly the shunya as an aspect is that it is a continuous thing, and then there is nothingness. There is ekanta or singularity, and there is shunya, that is nothingness. And one divided or zero divided by one is always going to be one, and one divided by zero is an infinite aspect or an undefined aspect, even according to mathematics. So if you have something and no one to give it to, that is still fine. But what if you have uh, hundreds of people wanting something and nothing to give? And that was a very interesting aspect to sort of look at. And these were all the thoughts that were in my head at that particular point of time. And this is how this poem came to be. And so that's the etymology behind some of these poems. And yeah, so that's some of the aspects of whatever I've written in terms of some of the work that I have shared so far with all of you. I and some of the aspects of what we will be about to also witness are also among the same space. Some of you have joined just now, so we have not yet revealed the book, which I will reveal in the next minute or so. So I was just sharing with people some of my poems outside of the book. Now I'll open the cover and I'll show you the book and officially call it launched. I am not a fan of too much of things being done in a very formal way. That's why you see it online. That's why you see no fan base or anything additional to saying, "Oh, this is how we do it. This is how we don't do it." Inviting a guest and all that. So this is as simple as it goes, as real as who I am. So I'll just share my screen and uh, pronounce the book open, and that's how we do it. Just let me know with a thumbs up that as soon as you see the screen, you should be able to see the screen now. Yes. So that's officially how I just launched the poems on paper. Still, they are on digital paper right now. I also see, very unknowingly, the whale also makes its appearance here. The butterfly effect is something that I very strongly believe in. One ripple somewhere can actually create a hurricane somewhere else, and possibly this is another aspect of how uh, origami or existing as paper folds can make a space. That was also an idea around this, and I will just also go on to the next page to just show you a little bit more of what to expect. Again, copyrights and other spaces is something that I could. So as I said, this is 7,000 plus poems, 200 plus stories, and this is something I also want to highlight. I write a poem once a week. I send it to you via WhatsApp or email. I charge a yearly subscription of 2,500 INR, and for a 2 year subscription of 5,000, and 50% will go to a corpus fund that funds scholarships for students. And again, 17 kids until now who've been able to study forward. If this looks interesting, please do reach out to me. I'll be happy to take it forward. Again, this book was born on 26th Jan 2025. I wrote 47 poems that day, and that is what is this. And this runs on, again, pay as you value and pay as you can kind of a space. You read it, you like it, you want to pay for it, you pay for it. If you like it, don't want to pay for it, don't pay for it. Share it as much as possible with people you know. And if you like it, don't pay for it, and let me know that you didn't like it. I'd be happy to receive some of those spaces. That's that. And this is the first poem. I'd like to read it to you guys alongside. So, some of these poems that you will see are like Upma and Avlaki, nothing new, uh, but definitely interesting and fascinating. But they also are like a masala dosa with butter on them. I know some of you 4:30 or 4:40 on a Sunday afternoon. I mean, reminding you of all of this. They are normal poems about normal, uninspiring things. They are like matrimonial profiles that get very little attention. They are existing, they are normal, they are uninspiring, but they exist. But they exist. Mundane existence, still existing wholeheartedly. Nothing less and nothing more about what they are. Important in many ways, like for to make the dosa shine, to make the protagonist better, to make the extraordinary a little extra. These poems exist, like I repeat again, but they exist, mundane existence still existing wholeheartedly. Important in many ways to make dosa shine, to make the protagonist better, and to make the extraordinary a little extra. These poems may not find immortality, may never be published in magazines, but guess what? It's been already published. May never get read twice, but they are always born with meaning. They are fruit and seed, holding importance. This is my first poem on the book, but essentially, this was the last poem that came to be, and this is the last poem that existed as part of that. Just wrapped it up to make it interesting, but the rest of them they exist as they are. Again, so all of us in some way or the other lead interesting existences. Sometimes they are normal, sometimes they are mundane, sometimes they are as easy as they are to exist, and just they don't need a reason to exist. Just like that, these poems also exist. These poems come to you, and these poems may find their own meanings, your own meanings as they come, and take it up. So yeah, the book is officially launched. Will reach your doorsteps possibly in the next 15-20 minutes after we close the call. Uh, but again, your presence here makes a huge difference for all. For me as an individual, for me for my writing. Thank you once again. Much gratitude, much acknowledgement to all that you have come by, and some of you, I haven't yet said hi. So thank you for coming in, and again, special thanks to all of you from various walks of life, and maybe a little more extra to Dr. Rashi because she said her son's birthday is today, and she's en route. Even with
They
that,
are,
she's come here.
they all heard your poems. They are sitting with me. See, both of them.
Thank you, and happy birthday for your son. So all of you will get the book reaching out to you on your WhatsApp. If you're not connected to me on WhatsApp, I'll share my number on the chat as well. It's 8892353514. Um, and I'd be happy to get in touch, talk to you. Call me anywhere else to recite poems. I'm always there online. Possibly, if you're calling me to other parts of the country, you host. You pay the fee in terms of my movement there. I'm there, churning poem after poem after poem. I'd be happy to reach out. If any of you want to learn more about my enabling of scholarships, I can definitely help you with that aspect as well. So, yeah, that at least for now concludes the official parts of the aspect. If you have questions, if you want to share something, uh, please go ahead, raise your digital hand, and I am always happy to receive compliments. Yes. So yeah, Divya, I'm sensing you have something to share. Go ahead.
I love your work. I love your intentionality and the care and just being you. You are a monopoly in yourself. So I love hearing you say your poems. And when in the first poem it said somebody may not read it again, I'm like, but Sunil is reading it again. So love it. Congratulations. I would love to share it with more people, but love what you bring to the world with your presence. Thank you for being here. Thank you.
Most welcome, Divya. So you're joining from the UK, I'm guessing, or is it still in India?
And no, I am in UK and I miscalculated the times. I was like telling everyone, see, I at lunchtime I am in a meeting. I can't do anything. And then I realized I miscalculated the time. So yeah, but I'm here.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Yes. Thanks, Divya. Thanks for sharing. And yeah, I'm reading everything on the chat. Full complete acknowledgement for that. And I think April is National Poetry Month. For me, every day is Poetry Day. Every day is Poetry Month. There is nothing additional that gets done, but I think yeah, I completely understand that space. Sometimes I put pressure on writers because I say, oh, I can write 5 poems in a day, and they're like, oh, and that's a lot of pressure. So, like I said, these are like kids that are born to your grandparents. They love equally all 10, 12, how many hours that they had prior. They equally love them and possibly in different shapes and different sizes, but they love them as is. Yes, so, I think floor is open in case anybody wants to share. If no shares, I'm happy to sit in silence with you.
Yeah, may I, Sunil?
Yes, sir, Ajit sir, please.
Okay, you started with power of possibility. The beauty here is, power of possibility flowing as naturally as breath, And the another thing you said, I'm not trained. We are never trained for breathing. We are never trained for digestion. We are never trained for growth. And all this is happening. And anything which happens gives happiness. So the beauty about what this is, you said, I'm telling about the context. I hope it is interesting. If the context was so interesting, how interesting will be the content? So the whole thing is, Sunil, yes, when you told the poem about that whale, frankly speaking, I was not able to grasp it because I am not very poetic. But when you told the story, the whole meaning came out so differently. There is so much of depth. But that means you need a different type of an approach to understand. Then only your dosa gets laced with the ghee. Otherwise, there is no ghee, right? So
absolutely, absolutely.
Yes, as you rightly pointed out, today, if I have to call you, you gave your number, right? 88 something. And that frequency and my mobile's frequency has to match. I think your frequency is directly connected with the frequency of the nature, and therefore you simply download everything. You don't have to struggle. It is as easy like passing a hot knife through butter. How easy it is. It simply flows and glows. All the best. And I'm sure, I'm convinced about, and I'll be a part of your, that 2-year stay.
Absolutely, sir.
It will be my
Absolutely. Thank you.
privilege.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, Ruby.
Congratulations. I've said this before, but I think you are a one-person orchestra, and I hope you continue to keep sharing your craft with the rest of the world. I had to turn off my camera when you were narrating the whale poem because I was so moved, and thank you. Yeah.
Thanks, Ruby. Thanks for that. And the one-person orchestra, maybe I'll write a poem on it. So, and Chris, thank you for joining from Malaysia. Over to you.
Okay. Well, I would like to say thank you for your joining for this book participation. I believe your book can bring a lot of inspiration to the people. I believe definitely yes, 100%. All the best, Sunil. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Lovely. Thank you so much. And Good to see you. Thanks for joining in from Malaysia. And we've met only once, but I think it's a very, very strong connection. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, Bharati Satyendra, please, aka Mom, go for it. Read you on mic.
Hi, Sunil.
Yes, yes, go for it. So I was just pulling my mom's leg. So you don't get to pull your mom's leg on camera. So
Yeah, I'm really very happy to be the part of this group. Every time I used to think like what my son will write, and as a layman, I really don't understand few words. I always tell my friends that I need to keep a dictionary when I'm reading Sunil's book. Some words are really difficult to understand. So that is one part. And I'm really very happy today to share my thoughts in front of others also in this group. I always see you sitting and doing something, ignoring other things around you. I used to wonder what he's doing over the mobile. And now today, like after seeing your books, reading your books, that is like I have understood what you do. And you are so well connected to the topics. I'm really proud of you. All the best. Thank you, Pita.
thank you. Thank you.
So, may I
Yes.
say something, Sunil?
Please, sir.
Now I know why you are what you are. Your mother's name is Bharati. Bhava, Raga, Tala, everything has come into you. You know? Yeah, the Bhava coming from the
Yes.
heart, the Raga coming from the head, and the Tala coming from the hands. And it is simply culminating, producing something like your mother said, no, you sit with one mobile, we all have a mobile, but they don't create that juice. Like we all say, there is a genie in us. That is our genius. And that genius is emanating out of it. All the best to you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thanks, Uma. Thanks for that. So, yeah. So, uh, anyone else wants to share something? Happy to listen to you. And hmm. Yes, Divya.
I wanted to add when we talked about the Blue Whale poem, the first one, I think I was really touched with I simple words connect faster to me, so I like that one better. In the sense, I was also at one point a bit curious or basically restraining myself. I was like, how does River Ganges come here with the blue whale? And then you talked about the currents from the world, and I just love the vastness of the thought, the openness, the connectiveness, and that was very, very rooted, and I just love that existence of that thought.
Absolutely, absolutely true. So I'd read somewhere saying, the tea that you drink today has its own journey. So it's been blessed by the sun, blessed by rain, possibly somewhere in Assam or somewhere else, and then grown by the soil there, and the soil is enriched with rain from all over the world. You never know which droplet came from what part of the world, and they're plucked by people in the morning, and suddenly they find themselves dried, packed, and sent to you somewhere, and somebody is with you making that tea for you, and possibly milk if that's the way you take your coffee, sorry, tea, it's coming from somewhere else, and all of universe is conspiring to possibly for you to drink tea, and that for me was wow, and it still go wow around it. So it is as is. So to a large extent, all of us are dinosaur dust. All of us are stardust. All of us are recycled versions of some of the stories that we are. So it is fascinating, and possibly the space of introducing that fascination to more and more people is what we poets love. Saying, hey, why do we want to put it to outside world and say reach out to maximum number of people is purely for this fascination to start and say go off, and that is an undefinable feeling.
And the more you say, the more you inspire. Like the concept of the universe conspiring you to be the person you are today, or the person you have to be and become. That is just, yeah. Keep sharing and yeah, keep writing. Wish you all the best. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. There may be time for one more person sharing. I see Pranati unmuted. So Pranati, for some of you, is a very young kid at heart, but possibly rich with experience. And she's in her early teenage. She's also a fantastic writer. And Pranati, over to you.
Thank you for that, sir. I just wanted to say congratulations. I'm waiting to read all the poems from your book.
Thank you. I'll share it with you very soon.
So
So
as soon as this meeting ends, I'll be doing two things. One is reading the book, and one more is watching match.
you can
Of
watch
course,
the
the match
match
is
and
going
read
on.
the
I just paused it. Then I came.
book.
Yeah.
Thanks, Pranati. Thanks for that. Yes. So good. So Anjit, I am guessing you have something to add. If not,
Sure. So, I noticed that you write more to connect with all the people around you and people across the globe. I'm sure Germany and Ethiopia and all the people find something in what you write to connect with you. It's not just an expression, self-expression that you put on paper. I think that holds more power than anything else. Well done. All the best.
thank you. Thank you so much. I think you brought up that topic of connecting. So I had written a poem way long back somewhere where somebody had lost a very dear friend of theirs, and they wanted to write a poem, or they asked me to write a poem in remembrance. I never met the person. I only wrote what came to me at that particular point of time. Half an hour later, I get a phone from them saying, with full tears in their face, saying, "Oh, I was able to go back in time and meet them again." So, irrespective of where you come from, what language there is, so it always is a connection space.
Right.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for sharing that. And so we are at 4:56. I am notorious for not finishing meetings on time, so hopefully this one will be something that I finish on time. Govind and some of you from the coaches community know that we say we will end up at 8, but we end up at 8:30, 8:45, saying, when my mom comes and saying, "When will you have dinner?" is when we close the meeting. So this has been a great joy, and thank you for making it until now and staying for the entire course of the conversation. Some of you from all walks of life, all regions of the world. So we've met in various capacities. Sometimes only met online. Sometimes we met for a very very long time physically, and I haven't met for a very long time. So thank you for making it here, and more books. Somebody told today saying, may you write 108 books. Hopefully that happens, and we will keep meeting like this. And again, acknowledgement to all of you for your time, your energy and patience, and all your blessings. Thank you for that. And yeah, whatever is meant to be will happen. So that is what we call as Tatastu. So that's the way we close today's call. Thank you.